So my critical numbers, if I help you out here, one of them is 0. If I try to plug in 0 for x, I'm going to get 0 in the denominator. That's the problem, right? The other one's a little trickier. Some of you, I'm willing to bet, could come up with what that's supposed to be just in your head, just looking at it, but others you're going to go, how you know, all right? Well, if you're in that how do you know kind of category, what I really, really want to know is what value of x gives me 0 right here. I want the solution to that equation, right? When does 3x plus 2 equal 0? It's all for x. Subtract your 2, divide by 3, and that's your other critical number. After you've done maybe 10, 15 of those, you pick up on a pattern. I encourage you to look for that pattern on your own. Otherwise, just keep solving for x. Okay, so those are half of my critical numbers. I've got some more though. To get my other ones, I'm going to pretend like I'm solving that. I know we just practiced this the other class, so you might not be quite ready to answer this question, but what would be the lowest common denominator? X and 2x plus 2, okay? And if I multiply both sides, you know, there's another way to work this problem. Are you all familiar with proportions? If I say the word proportion, you've heard that before in math class, right? How do you know if you have a proportion? It's when your math teacher tells you you have one, right? Okay. We're going to get to that. But the first thing, before you can ever cross multiply, is you have to make sure you have one. And you have a proportion when you have one fraction equals another fraction, and that's it. There's no other adding other numbers or no other fractions over there. If you happen to have a proportion, you can do what Tara suggests, and you can just cross multiply. And you get the same thing by declaring fractions. So I'm going to get negative 5x equals 5 times 3x plus 2. So when I subtract my 15x's, I get negative 20x equals 10. So divide by the negative 20. And that's a fraction that reduces. What's 10 divided by negative 20? Negative 1/2, right? So that's my other critical number. So this is a problem where I had 3 critical numbers, and I'm going to have, therefore, 4 intervals. Okay, remember, it is important that you pick them in order, smallest to largest. So negative 2/3 is like negative 0.666 repeating, right? And negative 1/2 is negative 0.5. So out of those 3 numbers, which one's the smallest, which one's the most negative? The negative 2/3. Alright, then the next smallest one's the negative 1/2. And the third one is 0. 0 is actually the largest one. So, here we go. We're going to cheat. If I take something smaller than negative 2/3, like negative 1, if I plug in negative 1, that's negative 5. I'm getting negative 5 over here. Let's see. Plug in negative 1 over here. That's 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 5 divided by negative 1 is positive 5. If you don't believe me, your calculator does. Okay? Is 5, the point is 5 bigger than or equal to negative 5? True. So negative 1's a solution and all those other points are too? Alright, here's where I'm going to use a little cheat. If we had time, we would go through and we would verify this, but it's going to work out that that one doesn't work, this one does, that one doesn't. Okay? What about the endpoints? This is the point of this problem. Do they get included? Some of them. Actually, only one of them gets included. To prove the point, let's talk about 0. Should 0 be included as a solution? No? Why not, Summer? Huh? It was a good guess. Can anyone give Summer a reason why? What happens when you plug it in? you get, let's see, negative 5 over 2 here.
Plug in 0, you can't have it on the other side.
Yeah, it's undefined.
It's an undefined number, right? Like, so is negative 5 over 2 greater than undefined? No, you're not allowed to plug in 0, right? It gets you 0 on bottom. So I don't care what this is. This I'm not allowed to even plug it in. So if I can't plug it in, how can it be a solution? So make it to parentheses, because it makes my denominator 0. Even though I'm using greater than or equal to, because it makes my denominator 0, it's going to get a parenthesis. Based on that reasoning, are there any others that are automatically going to get a parenthesis? No, not negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 doesn't make this denominator 0.
No, negative 2/3.
Negative 2/3, yeah.
2/3.
That's the one that made this one 0, right? So that gets a parenthesis. The negative 1/2 though, it gets a square bracket. When
Do
you
you
have,
stop the bracket at 0, the parentheses at 0, or can you continue? Oh, okay, never mind.
okay, I want to make this as crystal clear as possible. I know that you don't care because you want to go, but I want your ears at least to hear this. When you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, either way, and you have fractions involved, those critical numbers that make a denominator 0 are automatically going to get parentheses. Everything else will get a square bracket. Okay? The only thing you've got to worry about are the ones that make you divide by 0. Okay? All right. Have fun.